What's up you guys, I'm Dan, this is Frugal Not Cheap, and today we'll take a look at personal finance software in 2024. Because Mint, which is a popular personal finance software that was free, and I recommend it to many people in my personal life, is going away or has gone away, then a lot of people are now looking to see what they should move to next. Because of that, in recent weeks, I've done a number of reviews of personal finance apps, including Monarch Money, Simplifi by Quicken, NerdWallet, and You Need a Budget. In the past, I've also done a review of Rocket Money, and I have a video from 2022, which kind of goes deep into Quicken and also Empower. In today's video, I kind of want to lay out the space of personal finance apps as I see it right now, and give you my thoughts on these different apps. I think there's really maybe 2 or 3 relevant dimensions that we can kind of split this up in. One way, of course, is cost. There are free apps and then also paid apps. And then another way is by the feature set, or kind of who it's for. And of course we could split that up into 2. But what I think makes the most sense for this video at least is to look at sort of the feature set or who it's for, and then decide which option is the best fit for that user or feature set given price. Thinking about the different apps, I think they kind of fit on sort of a continuum of how well versed a person is with personal finance. In other words, we could look at beginners, where you're just kind of learning about personal finance, putting together your first budgets and trying to pay off debt and really get things kind of on track and gain some control over everything. Then in the intermediate stage, we've kind of built up some personal finance muscles here, and we're now looking to get kind of more detailed and richer reporting, and kind of start to track things beyond just, what our budget is and maybe what our net worth is on a kind of, super high level. And then we have sort of the more, advanced group, I guess, where we're looking at things like investments and also retirement planning and kind of all the bells and whistles. So before we get into sort of these 3 stages or categories, I would like to say that, of course, there's a lot of other personal finance apps that are out there that I haven't reviewed and I'm not looking at in today's video. There's stuff like a Google Sheets based thing called Tiller, which looks kind of neat. There's also GnuCash, which is an open source double entry accounting system, which I've used in the past, but it's cumbersome and really not user friendly. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be for most people. And then there's also EveryDollar. I think that's kind of popular, but I haven't tried that one either. In any event, among the apps that I've tried and reviewed, I think that the 2 that would be good for sort of the beginners, where you're really trying to figure out your spending and setting up a budget, and especially if you're on a journey to pay off your debt, I think the 2 that fit well here are NerdWallet and also YNAB, which is You Need a Budget. These 2 softwares also differ in terms of pricing, of course. NerdWallet is free or really ad supported, right? So that's a plus. And it has a number of simple reports, but actually pretty robust reports relative to YNAB, actually. You can see your cash flow, you can track your net worth over time. And the reason why I think it's really good for beginners is that in terms of the sort of budget or the spending plan, it does a very simple 50-30-20, where you're looking at your needs versus your wants and your savings. Those are those 3 different categories. And I think that's really good when you're kind of just getting going and you're not really trying to dial things down to, the last penny in every single category and that kind of thing. Maybe not a bad way to start off. It also does provide your credit score and report. Then we've got YNAB, which is $99 a year. Again, this has even more simple reports than NerdWallet, so that's really not its focus. What YNAB is really good at is having a unique perspective on your money, where it actually assigns a job to the dollars that you already have in your accounts. And then as new dollars come in, then you're going to be assigning jobs to those as well. So I think it's really good for someone that is good at being organized and is really gung-ho about this, because there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think it could be a really powerful tool for people that are looking to get out of debt. And so, if they're the type that this kind of a system, which is a lot like an envelope system in a sense, where you have, basically little digital envelopes for each of the different things you need to put your money towards on a monthly basis, then this is going to be a good tool, and it could be worth the $99 a year. If that's too OCD, then maybe NerdWallet would be the better choice. Now, looking at the intermediate tier, we've got Rocket Money, Monarch Money, and Simplifi by Quicken. All of these are kind of more the classic personal finance apps. I would kind of think of them as really kind of like what Mint was. So they do the budgets, of course, and you can also set goals and do debt payoff and what have you. But in general, they have sort of more robust reporting. And rather than having that unique perspective on assigning existing dollars that YNAB has, it's doing the whole, sort of the budget with the income and then your spending and all that kind of stuff. What they're still weak on, of course, is on retirement and investment kind of stuff. And that's going to be, in the next section. So looking at Rocket Money, this is the only one that's sort of technically free, but the free tier is very, very limited. You can't even track your net worth on it. So really it comes out to anywhere between $3 and $12 a month. It has this interesting thing where you can kind of tell it how much you think it's worth and pay that. So yeah. It also comes with a lot of unique tools that other apps don't have, because it actually came from an app that helped you to identify and then cancel your subscriptions. So that's kind of their selling point. I don't think it's a big one. You can just look at your transactions and then identify the subscriptions that you don't want and cancel them. I mean, if you look at transactions for a month or 2 months, there's not that many. All right? I've heard people try to, justify the time savings, but come on, it's not that hard. The other thing that Rocket Money can do is to negotiate bills. But again, this is a little bit dicey, and because it's doing it for you and taking a cut, then you might as well just do it yourself and get the full thing. That's my opinion anyway. Again, it will help you set goals, also track your net worth, and has robust reporting on your spending. The one kind of downside to this one versus the others is that there's, again, a lot of cross-selling, not only with those two features I talked about with the subscriptions and the bill negotiation, but also credit cards and mortgages and stuff. So you can check out my video for more detail on that. But still, at $3 a month, we're looking at $36 a year, and that's a pretty good deal. Next, we've got Monarch Money. I think this one has probably the most pleasing interface, I would say, and also looks like it's got the most sort of ongoing development, like the developers are really gung-ho and adding more and more features over time. It's got very robust reports as well, and if they do continue to add features, then it might move Monarch Money into the next tier if they're able to start adding more stuff on investments, which they have said that they're going to do, but so far I haven't really seen that as of this filming. And then finally, we've got Simplifi by Quicken. This comes out to $48 a year. I don't like sort of the pastel colors in the interface. That's just a personal preference. But otherwise, it's a very good browser-based interface and also a really good mobile app as well. And given that these, they do have their differences and you might want to test drive them all, they have free trials, I think, or if not, then you can, check out detailed reviews and kind of get a feel for them. You can look at my videos if you want. But I think Simplifi by Quicken would probably be the best value in this category and the one that I would choose. Now looking at the sort of advanced tier or what have you, which again, Monarch Money might move to in the future, but isn't there just yet. We've really only got two big names, and those are Quicken, which is now Quicken Classic is what they call the product, and also Empower, which used to be Personal Capital. So what these apps can do that the other apps don't do or don't do very well is to help you plan for more lifetime things, right? So retirement planning, including big life events, and they have even more robust reporting in general. And then, of course, they have a focus on investment. Here we're talking about actually seeing your asset allocation across all accounts, tracking cost basis, and all that kind of stuff. Now, these two apps are very, very different. They're very different both in terms of kind of the architecture and also in terms of price. So first, let's look at the architecture. Quicken Classic is still a desktop-based software. They do have like a cloud syncing feature, but it's really, really messy and terrible. Even with the mobile app, it's just a nightmare. If you look at the reviews, unless they fixed it, which I highly doubt, then that's just going to be a total nightmare. But the desktop app, of course, runs on the desktop very, very quick. And it is possible if you're really old school to do everything manually. You could do manual transactions like downloads from the banks, or you could just enter in all the manual transactions. This is very much the old school personal finance app. On the other hand, Empower, of course, is a modern web-based application. So you do have to link all of your bank accounts, and you can't really do a whole lot of manual transactions in it at all. You can track, account balances manually, but there's no entering a ton of manual transactions. Frankly, by the way, I don't miss that at all. They also do differ a little bit in terms of the kind of feature set that they have. One thing Quicken can do that Empower does not is that it has credit scores, so keeps an eye on that. And then it also has some tax planning features, and then if you get different versions, there's even like business stuff and bill pay and all these other kind of full feature sets that you could add to it. What Empower has that Quicken does not have is a retirement fee analyzer, and then also something that keeps track of your emergency fund right on the dashboard. In general, I think they're both very, very powerful. Probably Quicken Desktop, if you get the most expensive one, can probably do the most things, but then again, there are some trade-offs still. But personally, I find that Empower can do everything that I want it to do, and it's free, so that's pretty awesome. Speaking of which, for Quicken, the prices go from $72 a year for the deluxe version. Then the premier version is just under $100 a year, and the business and personal is about $132 a year. The trade-off with Empower is that, of course, the service that they offer, you don't have to take it, but that they offer is to manage your assets, manage your investments. And, you know, I don't know. I don't have a hard time saying no. So they called me, I think maybe once or twice in however many years. It's been many, many years. And it's really easy just to politely decline. You know, not a big deal. So there you have it. If you're really, really old school and you want all those bells and whistles and you really have a lot of sort of, I don't know, concerns about the cloud, then Quicken Classic still your way to go. But for me, as I see it, you know, good two options in the beginner tier, NerdWallet and YNAB. For the intermediate tier, Simplifi by Quicken. And then here for the advanced tier, then my pick is Empower. What's your favorite personal finance app? Which are the ones that you're looking to try? Let us know in the comments below. Hope you found this overview helpful. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.